I don't have an immune system, and so I don't want to sacrifice it all just to get laid. I'm not seeing friends and family in person. This is some of the most interaction I get with friends online, only because.
And I'm still wearing a condom.
Damn it, I don't. Yeah, we're still prophylactic. It's just over the microphone, so we don't. I don't want to die from something stupidly preventable. If all I had to do was stay the home and not risk it for a year. My same criticism, by the way, of right-wing anti-vax, COVID-denying nutters. It's like, just stay home. For God's sake, you don't need to go to the bar or go to the barber or whatever the nutters were crying about. I haven't had my hair done in weeks. Whatever the fanatic weirdos were saying that they just had to go out during COVID.
That was like Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Chicago. I'm trying to think of what Lori Lightfoot.
They did it too. They did it too.
Those girls.
But it was mostly they had more information, and so they should have known better. It's the ignorant ones that really bother me, that just because I don't even need ignorant, because I don't think any of them are stupid. I think they felt extreme betrayal. I think the QAnon movement, the MAGA QAnon crazies that are totally anti-authoritarian, unless you're a YouTube authoritarian, unless you're an authority with zero credentials. If you're an authority with credentials, they don't believe you at all. If you're an authority with zero credentials because you're somebody on YouTube saying so, they believe every word you say. So if you're criticizing authority, they believe that, but they don't believe authority because they felt betrayed by authority enough that they rebelled against reason. And so I don't.
Oh, that was me.
I more pity them.
I'll tell you where my head was at, just real specifically. Prior to myself getting the COVID-19, and then I'll tell you exactly how I felt afterwards. But prior to that, there's 2 weeks to slow the spread, and that was pretty scary, and everything was a little bit scary. So we're like, oh, okay, we better do the scary thing. We're going to be scary. But then, when I saw people who I knew would be in the know, not being scary, they would talk scary, like, you can't be scared. But then they would go out and get their hair done, or they would be out without a mask, or they'd be out doing whatever.
Because they're still human. Because they aren't any smarter than anybody else. Yeah.
Right. They'd be doing. I'm like,
they're doing the same stupid things.
They're clearly not scared, is what my head was. I'm like going, they're not scared, so I'm not scared. And then I stopped being scared.
That's where you were wrong.
Well,
because it shouldn't have mattered what they were doing. If you had the information, you should have known better for yourself.
Well,
if I see somebody really smart go, oh, I'm going to go lick toilet seats, I don't care if they say don't, and then I see them do it. I'm still not going to do it because licking toilet seats is clearly stupid. So when you see somebody like a politician,
yes, but
I don't know why you value
going to the French laundry stupid. Going to the French laundry isn't stupid. That's fun. That's not licking a toilet. We got to come up with a better analogy. Anyway, the COVID, while it did almost kill me, I want to just say, while it did almost kill me, and it changed my perspective on life and death, I don't feel like it should have ever been scaremongered the way that it was, and that was a body politic kind of a politician thing to do.
It was a mistake.
That I don't appreciate.
They made a mistake. Yeah. You shouldn't.
Yeah.
And that is where you you fell into the QAnon MAGA crowd of feeling bitterly betrayed. So
Beach didn't learn his lesson either.
Right.
So the next time there's anything like this is going on, I'm going to still look at the people in power and go, how scared are you really? I'm going to look at their behavior, and if their behavior says they're not scared, I won't be scared either.
Why, if you don't trust politicians now, why would you trust them in an emergency?
I wouldn't. That's the whole thing. Yeah.
Okay,
I wouldn't.
so
Yeah.
the issue I had was like with Fauci, David Fauci. He is
Anthony Fauci.
Anthony Fauci, highly educated, highly decorated virologist. He knows his. Did he get stuff wrong? Do smart people get things wrong?
I don't.
Yes.
Well, the thing about Anthony Fauci is he'd already kind of lost me back in the '80s. He made the wrong call about AIDS, and because of that, I was never on the Fauci bus. And when the lady on Fox, when Fauci was first being touted as being the virologist guy that everybody and that the Trump administration was going to go to for their information on this, and the lady on Fox was saying, he's got a great career and an upsetting thing was like going,
yeah,
what you been smoking, yuck? This dude is quackalicious. I was never on the Fauci train.
I don't think he was ever a quack. I think he's been wrong a bunch of times.
I think he was wrong more than he was right, and I never liked him. I always thought he was
I never worried about his personality. I'm
talking about the way past now. He had never impressed me. So when he came out as the main guy for Trump, I was looking at Trump going, why are you bringing this guy up? He's a dumbass.
Yeah, see, the fact that you go, the fact that you were questioning Trump making a stupid decision is also suspect, because Trump is a moron. So
well, he showed it there. That was a very bad choice.
He is corrupt from the ground up. But it wasn't. But if you just go, oh, Fauci says it, so I'm not going to believe it. But if you go, Fauci said it, and this other virologist said it, and these other people are saying it, all the educated medical staff are saying it, and then you go to the hospitals and talk to the nurses, and you go, the nurses are going, stay home because we're full up and they're dying, and then you still go, no, Fauci said it, so it's all the nurses are wrong, all the doctors are wrong, everything else is wrong, Trump was wrong, all this is, if that's you've been bitterized worse than me and you switch to go totally anti-science, like the flat earthers. Flat earthers got burned somehow. Exactly like that. Flat earthers got burned somehow by authority.
I'm not talking about flat earthers for a second, but when you say anti-science, what happened is, even though I didn't like Fauci and I didn't like the fact that Trump had called on him to be the go-to guy, because I didn't like Fauci, I started getting my opinions from other medical professionals that were notable in the field. And I wasn't just out there just researching like a crazy man. I don't want to make it sound like that. I wasn't doing that. But I was still paying attention. For every virologist or doctor who said X, Y, and Z, and this is horrible and super scary, there was another guy saying, well, look, there's ways we can mitigate this. We've made some progress with ivermectin. Blah, 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 blah. And I was able to find one for one easily a medical professional who was saying, this is something we can control. We can have it. For every medical professional, it's like, hair on fire, scared. And it's important to keep in mind, too, that when this thing first came out and they were experiencing, the worst of it was the first people to get it were the people who were going to get it the worst. And their go-to treatment was the ventilators. That's a harsh treatment. That's a pretty rough treatment. I never had to go on a ventilator because they had figured out by the time I had it that was not necessary. They were able to just dose me up with some steroids and some oxygen and call it a day. But
I think still some of them needed the ventilator because of the fluid buildup in their lungs. They would suffocate.
Yes, exactly.
It wasn't.
They hadn't.
It wasn't treating the COVID. It was keeping them alive long enough to fight the
right.
COVID.
Exactly right. But the thing is that their success rate by the time the person was on the ventilator, they already knew that they had lost them. Statistically, there was a very few people who came back from the ventilator. They were gone already. They weren't dead yet. And so we knew that while that was that was a last resort treatment, on something, like I said, the people who got it first got it the worst. And that's just sad. That's how it was. That was the genetic lottery that they lost on that one, and I'm sorry for all of them. But because it was all happening like that, and everybody was so scared, And you had your body of people over here saying this is super scary and don't take the horse paste. Well, you had other people over here going, okay, well, this is scary. It doesn't have to be super scary. And here's where we are making some strides. And I can tell you I've found at least one for every profession. So, but
Well,
if you
because it
stop
was also
Fauci,
true that it wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't ever going to kill everybody. It was only going to kill millions. And it did. And they did everything wrong the first time, and then they corrected. See, what I think is going to be interesting this next time is there's going to be a next time. So I'm going to continue working on my respirator even after I get done with my chemo.
Right.
When there is a next time, I'm still going to shut down the center until it all blows over, because
as you would,
doing massage is a very face-to-face, arm's
Right,
reach thing, and I don't want to get sick. So I'm going to do all the things the medical professionals suggested to do in the event of a pandemic. That Fauci suggested, and I'm just using him because you hate him. He also, and you think he's wrong. He also suggested doing these same things. Wear a mask. Guess what? I still wear a mask because they work. Why do right-wingers not wear a mask? Or what was a lot of the right-wingers screaming? Masks don't work. Well, okay, go lick your toilet seats. Don't wear your mask, and that's fine. Masks don't work. I'm going to wear mine because I know they do. I'm going through chemo. My oncologist, not my virologist, my oncologist suggests I wear a mask in public so I don't get a cold, which is even more contagious than COVID. So all the things that Fauci and the fearmongers said was true first. Also, all the things the other people were saying was also true. It's not going to be that bad. Only the weak are going to die, or the ones that are exposed or have some issues are going to die. Other people aren't even going to have symptoms. That's also all true. Which do you want to side on the next pandemic? Because there's going to be another one. With the climate heating up, we already have malaria increasing in Florida. Malaria is a warmer weather, hotter climate disease. Florida is now becoming hotter like Africa. And so we're going to get all the diseases, Ebola, malaria, all the same diseases as the earth gets warmer. Because the earth is getting warmer, the viruses, the diseases, the bacteria are coming here. So again, you can pretend that it's not real, or because some scientists are wrong a lot because they're fishing in unknown territory and they're saying the wrong thing out of their own fear. Or you also get people that are taking advantage of the fear and selling you horse paste at huge markups because you think that the medical professionals are stupid and Alex Jones is right because of all his medical degrees. All that is going to happen. I'm going to continue taking precautions. I understand biology. I understand evolution. I have studied it. I don't have a degree. I was in the medical profession as a massage therapist. I had people ask me, so I did a lot of research. Also, we just do research. That's something we like to do. So we are informed. The next time it comes around, I'm still going to do all the things that we should do and then some, because we'll have better information. And the people that are spurned by authority, figuring out that authority doesn't know everything, and then swapping because a certain percentage of people are going to see that and go, well, they were lying. No, they were just wrong. But they're going to go, they were lying to me, so all authority is wrong, and I'm never going to trust them. All government is wrong, so I'm never going to trust it. Because at one point, they didn't know what was going on, they overreacted, and were wrong. you're again going to be right for the wrong reason. So that comes back around with me over and over and over again. If you're right for the wrong reason, it's probably going to kill you at some point. And so my frustration is that so many people
wait.
have been betrayed.
Wouldn't you? Don't you mean if it kills you, wouldn't that make you wrong? You're gonna be wrong for what? Who cares which reason? If it kills you, isn't that by definition?
If you're right for the wrong reasons, so you're right that Fauci lied and that COVID wasn't going to kill you.
That's not something we. Yeah, that's not something we care about being right about.
No, not we. We are a little bit different. We are more educated than most. We are more curious and more nuanced than most. We understand.
We want to be right about the things that are going to make us live. That's what we want to be right about. If we do. If we die, we're wrong by definition.
So if the MAGA conservative QAnon that thinks now because Fauci was wrong, that medical professionals were wrong, that they weren't wrong, they now believe they lied. The MAGA cult believes they lied and COVID was a hoax. You've heard this too, right? You've heard this line before.
Won't they be the first to die in the next pandemic?
They will. So they're going to die. What you're describing there is the self-fulfilling or the self-correcting problem. That's the self-correcting problem. If you're wrong and you act on wrong and you die, well, you're dead and you're not going to propagate your wrongness anymore. But a lot of them think they're right because they were right that Fauci was wrong. They were right that a lot of medical professionals were wrong. They were right that governments, in a lot of ways, were wrong and overreacted. But what they're going to take from that is it was a hoax, it didn't exist, and they never have to worry about it. And next time there's a disease that comes out, they're going to go out and lick toilet seats because they were right for the wrong reason.
I don't know of anybody that believes that COVID-19 was a hoax. I know that there's plenty of people who believe. I can show you hundreds
online. They do interviews. That's the greatest thing for comedy guys now. Comedy Central. They go out and interview people at the Trump rallies, the QAnon parades outside the Trump rallies, and they interview them and they say it was a hoax. They say that the January insurrection was a hoax. They say the election was a hoax. Everything Trump said was a hoax.
When they say that COVID-19 was a hoax, are they saying that it wasn't a real virus, that people didn't really die, or
they don't see? The other thing is when you ask them that, that's what's funny about it. They'll ask them that, and they'll go, well, at one point, Trump said it was a hoax, and none of it's real. Alex Jones at one point says none of it's real. It's a hoax. It's a government conspiracy to get you to enslave yourself so they can inject you with the virus that has a computer chip in it to track you. You've heard these, right? These aren't just the crazy people. It's people propagating off of it, and Alex Jones did it. But you're also getting... I lost my train of thought.
I naturally assumed that the people who really thought that it was that serious in terms of the vaccine injections were to put in DNA altering stuff or RFID chip tracking, who cares what. I kind of thought that they were the very lowest of the percentage of the population. The smallest of the smallest.
No. They're also lumped in with the ones that... Alex Jones is a big propagation of this. Also, I've unfortunately watched a lot of Alex Jones. I'm hearing noises out there. Alex Jones is famous for repeating the hoax thing, where like the school shootings are hoaxes. They're paid actors, so none of it ever happened.
That's too bad. I mean, it's sorry that he used to feel like that. That's
people believe is the problem.
There's probably some people that might think that, but
and the people that believe
at the end of the day,
the other thing, right? The other thing is the same people that say it was a hoax
How many of those people are really affecting public policy, do you think, in any larger than an individual kind of way? How many of those people are running
I don't
for
know.
office?
The Congresswoman, Marjorie Taylor Greene, believes the same thing.
I don't think she does.
Yes. Marjorie Taylor Greene was the one that said that the fires in California were started by Jewish space lasers.
I don't think she just said that as a fact. I think she was speaking hypothetically. Maybe even analogically.
No.
Actually, I remember the quote you're talking about. I remember
Yeah.
the quote you're talking about, but it wasn't. She was not saying that as if it were an accusation.
Yeah, it was the Jews. And it was a denial of climate change. There's no climate change. The fires couldn't have been started normally, or it couldn't be that it was unnormally hot. It had to be space lasers. It had to be some conspiracy. She's a conspiracy theorist. I'm not against conspiracy theorists. I'm against the nutty ones. It's like, Hillary Clinton is a lizard person from outer space that dresses up and eats babies to live forever.
Again, we're talking about the smallest percentage of people. I'm sure that Marjorie Taylor Greene does not believe Hillary Clinton is a lizard person.
She believes that COVID was a hoax, and that the fires were started by nefarious reasons, and her serious suggestion, whether she believes it or not, I couldn't tell you, but what she suggested seriously was the space lasers that the Jews put up there started the fires. That was her serious suggestion, and she's a congresswoman. And you're wondering,
she must be siding with Hamas right now.
How much influence do these small minority of crazy people have? The influence of law. They have the influence of making the laws. So I'm getting my passion back up. None of it feels good. None of it matters. It's my frustration at the ignorance and how easily people are manipulated when they feel betrayed. I'm probably right there among them. I try to actively go against it. I mean, I actively watch people I don't like, Jordan Peterson, just to make sure that I understand their argument.
I do the same exact thing. I think that must be a lesson you learned from me.
So I'll give it to you. Sure, absolutely.
Because Kyle Kalinske is really hard to listen to, and Dave Packman is so very hard to listen to. But really? I have to. Oh, yes.
I find them easy. I actually think their humor is funny.
But I'm on the left. Just a little too smarmy.
See, I'm smarmy. I mean, why do you talk to me? I am 90% smarm. I don't like it.
Oh, no. You're only 88% smarm at the most. But I give you a pass on the
just as smarmy as them. You do.
I don't know.
That's
I
your
don't
bias.
think I was really not. I don't think I do. I was only just saying that.
Yeah. You do. You're biased. I have the same smarm. I keep trying to get back to that COVID thing. Oh, it's either a hoax. This is the thing that the comedians do. Getting back to that. It's either a hoax and it doesn't exist, or in the very next sentence they say it's a weapon released by the Wuhan lab in China, that they designed it to kill people, to kill Americans. And they hold both of those ideas at the same time, and they don't have a problem with it. It either doesn't exist because it's a hoax, and it exists and it's a weapon nefariously made by the Chinese. And we all know we don't like China, right?
Well, I don't know if I could even think of a single person that would try to hold both of those ideas at the same time. That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't, but I see them.
That can't be Marjorie Taylor Greene. Oh, you do?
It's Marjorie Taylor Greene. It is Marjorie Taylor Greene. And you think Lauren Boebert is better? She's just as nutty.
She's fine.
They make... I'm going to agree to disagree. but the inside, as soon as she opens her mouth, the ugly comes out. So I guess on a lot of the homath to me breaks down at that point, because man, and it's one of the things that I was a little embarrassed about that I probably should have wanted to clarify on the last video, where I said I wouldn't touch that silicon sex work hoe with someone else's 10-foot pole. It wasn't against sex work, and it wasn't against women. It was the toxic shit that comes out of their mouths that I wouldn't want to get near. It makes the sounds that the mouth makes the pussy sour quick, and I don't, with my passion for anti-bigotry and to be right for the right reasons, and when stupidity like that or when ignorance comes out, it makes it flushes all the evolutionary psychology right down the drain, because I'm not having any of it. I don't care how nice the vagina is. I can't be around it, or else I'll pop. I'm not around it, and it makes me crazy.
Let me toss out a real quick idea, and I'll try to sum it up in about 3 minutes. To kind of do a wrap. You can tell me what you think of this, and we'll call it a wrap, because this will help, hopefully, with any luck at all, tie all of the pandemic and the red pill stuff kind of all together, because it really does. I mean, I'm going to go global here for a second, so I'll get a little bit cold. It's going to boil down to how much people are dying versus how much people are. Oh, I just said restrict this. Versus how much people are reproducing, okay? And the red pill dynamics, homath, is all about a way for guys to figure out how to do the math, to attract a mate, to impregnate chicks. That's the ultimate result. I mean,
evolutionary primate psychology. It's the law of primate. Right.
Yeah, it's going to be about short-term mating for a lot of them, at least at first. Right. But at some point, they're going to get some chick pregnant. At some point, they're going to go, oh, let's start a family. At some point, they're going to find true love, and or whatever that case might be. So the point is they'll not get to that point unless they get to first base. And so homath is all about hitting that first base thing. Now, on the other side, you got pandemic, which is all just going to be a question of how many people died. And now we know how many people died, and how many people are going to carry on dying. And we could even tie in mysticism to that. Because, again, if you're not right, then Darwin is going to catch up with you at some point. You're going to get the Darwin Award. So we could say to a large degree, literally, that your lifespan, however long or short it is going to be an amalgamation of your good choices, bad and good. And the length of it is going to be, meaning that hopefully most good choices. And for some unfortunate situations, there'll be something that shorts it, not in a real natural way. And so that's just unfortunate. We hate that, but that comes back to that whole global thing. Because when we're talking globally, it does really boil down to having to be just a little bit cold when you're talking about people dying, and even just equally as cold when you're talking about people to make more kids.
Right.
And so it boils down to a question of, now, are we going to be going, we got to do what's right for society, we got to do what's right for the population of the planet and keep moving that thing forward? Or do we say, well, it would be great if it does move forward, but if it doesn't, if it moves backward, maybe we just have to be okay with that. If technology and world population drops back to 500,000 and we have that technological decrease that correlates with that, corresponds to that whole population decrease, maybe we just have to be
disagree
okay
with that math, by the way, but I'm going to go with it now.
It's soft math right there. I wasn't really just saying that's how exactly that would work. I'm just saying that's how it could work, and hopefully it wouldn't. But either way, what you're going to decide as an individual. Everybody out there in the world is going to decide. Well, am I doing things for the good of society and for the good of the world, or am I just going to do my thing and let society and the world do its thing? Because believe me, once somebody says, we got to do what's right for society, that's a slippery slope that leads to things like eugenics. Like, okay, now Down syndrome boy cannot get with Down syndrome girl, and because they're going to have Down syndrome babies. And that is a really dark place to be. I personally feel that we pretty much have to say, if Down syndrome boy wants to get a Down syndrome girl and have a baby, they should by God be able to do that. Let's just let them do that and let the chips fall where they may. Now, if you're on that kind of a stance, then you're just going to have to be okay with sometimes people are going to die in a pandemic, and sometimes guys aren't going to get laid. That's a bummer.
Yep.
That's how it's going to be sometimes.
Yeah. That is all true, but only
From a certain
if you
point
take
of
a
view.
step. That is absolutely the line, and from how close to the planet you are. I guess
Yeah.
I place myself. I'm able to more viscerally feel my place in society when I see issues, when I see problems. Just like with where monkeys are tested for fairness, and it's a negative thing. Fairness for humans, for primates, is a negative response, not a positive response. Altruism is a negative response. So they gave the one monkey nice, juicy, sweet grapes, and the other monkey, I think, a carrot stick or something. And the carrot stick monkey wanted the grapes and thought it was unfair, and so refused, and the other monkey eventually would refuse also. So fairness...
You know what I would have done? I would have eaten the carrot stick, turned it into poo, and flung it at the other monkey.
Well, that was probably what it would have done at some point, too. The fairness... is I don't want it to be fair to you because of my altruism that you get your fair share. I want to make sure you get your fair share so that I get my fair share. If I'm not getting my fair share, I'm not happy. So I'm only going to make sure that you get your fair share. So I want to make sure it's fair because I want my fair share. So it's a selfish response to fairness. And I guess my sense of fairness gets away with me, and I get angry, and I feel passionate about it. So I need to, and I'm trying to step more, because there's nothing we can do about it, really. And because if Jewish space lasers are catching the world on fire, what are we going to do?
You're going to get tan.
So I'm trying to more take a step back and be more stoic about it.
That's
but
a good way to be.
I'm always fighting my passion for fairness and equality. Not because I feel altruistic.
Yeah, I don't find that fairness is a thing for me. Life isn't fair. Nature does not give a damn about fairness. But I am passionate about the notion of reducing suffering when I can do it.
Right,
and
that
not
would
just
be the
my own
argument
suffering.
for stopping Down syndrome people from having kids, though. If you're interested in reducing suffering, the child will suffer greatly because of medical issues.
When I can. Yeah, when I can.
Right. When you can.
I can't reduce all suffering. I mean, if a person decides that they're, by God, going to suffer, how am I supposed to intervene? I can't intervene on that.
That's now my happy place, and this is going to be dark, and right wing is going to condemn me for it, and left wing is going to say nothing. Just as when Schadenfreude.
Hit me. This ought to be good. Go ahead.
Schadenfreude.
Dark place.
Schadenfreude.
Oh, that is your dark place?
That is my dark place.
That's it?
When states that said we're not doing any COVID protection, we're banning companies from mandating masks, and the right-wing conservative population died at twice the rate, I felt Schadenfreude. Self-correcting problem. That's my dark place.
That is a self-correcting problem.
That's my
Your
darkness. If
Your
if
dark
you're
place
gonna
is
be
getting some joy out of a self-correcting problem?
yeah. Yeah, if I'm gonna be so angry and passionate and try to get you to see that you're doing something that's going to hurt you and hurt those around you, and then you get hurt and hurt those around you, well, I'm gonna go, good. Good. I'm glad you're dead, because now you're no longer part of the problem. Self-correcting problem. So that's my darkness, and maybe I should lean into it more.
Well, if it solves the passion in terms of the upset that the passion brings along, I would say, yeah, lean into it. If it solves that passion.
Okay. I'll bring that up more often then. Maybe we should talk about that next time.
The self-correcting problems?
Self-correcting problems, how situations arise where one side does. No, I don't want to talk about that. That makes me too.
I don't. Yeah, we could sum it up probably in 2 or 3 sentences. Really, you've got celibacy in the church, organized church, of the celibacy of the monks and the bishops and the whatnot, and who cares what, I don't even know. So that was something help, make it so that didn't propagate itself out of control. Mormons were bad enough, and the Catholic families who were not doing that side of that part of that religion, who were just taking their kids into church to get pointed by the clergy. So anyway, yes, the celibate clergy. Celibate clergy is a self-correcting problem to a large degree.
But it's not. It's still going on and still suffering. It's a self-propagating problem too, unfortunately.
Oh, well, just think of how
virus.
badly out of control it would be if they treated it like Mormonism. That's all I can say. Just think of how badly it would be out of control if they treated it like.
I think there'd be less pedophiles in the church if they were having sex with.
There probably would be less pedophiles.
Right, so it's not a self-correcting problem; it's a self-perpetuating problem. It sounds like
you'd also have way more clergy at this point. Yeah.
No.
You have kids growing up being okay. My dad's clergy. I'm going to be clergy. My dad's clergy. I'm going to be clergy. Or at the very least, my dad is clergy, so I'm going to be wildly religious and have a big family.
Maybe a self-limiting problem.
It certainly helped keep it.
It's definitely punching themselves in the dick. It's screwing themselves up, but it's continuing to hurt others. But yeah, I suppose that is one. There's a lot of Schadenfreude out there.
You might be able to say there's just not enough punching oneself in the dick.
There is clearly not. There is clearly not.
More dick punching going on here. So
yes.
More self-imposed dick punching will help correct the world's problem. We just solved it.
We win.
Get Daniel Schmechtenberger on the phone. We've got this solution to the meta crisis. Everybody needs to punch themselves in the dick.
Man, if it works, if that's the cure. No.
All right, dude. I got a jam.
I know you got practice, right?
Hey,
it's good to talk to you.
Yeah, this was an awesome conversation. I'm going to text you.
Okay.
We'll talk to you in a bit.
All right. Bye.
Later, everybody in the internet.
Bye.
Ah!